This comes at an extremely unfortunate time as cryptocurrency was looking like a breakout of massive proportions was in fact inevitable. Now we have a new piece of news being thrown into the fold here that could absolutely throw a wrench into some of the crypto gains we were expecting to see. Now I'll say right now, two cryptos I'm extremely confident in, and there's a couple others that I do like right now, are Dogecoin and the most recent crypto pick on Patreon. Those two cryptos are, I think, going to withstand a lot of the pressure and still spike massively within the next few months here. But that said, when it comes to specifically the overall crypto market, some of that bullish energy that we were looking at in the chart, some of those predictions of the high breakouts that were looking extremely likely, that chance has now gone down. And yes, it's still possible it could happen, but we have to be taking into account all of the news here. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, I hate to come on and do this, but I think it's important that all of us have access to all of the information here so we can get the best stats possible on what may be about to happen. And this chart right here is what I want to talk about right now. This chart shows the housing price percentage increase month to month. And typically what we see, it can be around 5% that we're seeing through that entire year of the housing market going up, which is nothing too crazy. But now we've started to see the amount that housing prices are going up per year and per month absolutely skyrocket. And we can see right here at the beginning of July and through 2021 especially, we have seen insane movement in the housing market. Now, housing is one place that people like to put their money. If you're going to invest in something, you may want to buy a rental property where you can be renting it out to people and making a steady income on the side. Passive income, that's one thing a lot of people want. But if housing prices are crazy high, well, then you may take some of that money and put it into cryptocurrency. That's one of the reasons we have seen the crypto market having way more positive energy lately. But unfortunately, we just had this right here. The first month in a very long time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 consecutive months of it going up. And the first one, we just saw it going down. But this is something that we didn't necessarily know was going to be a big deal yet. Now we're starting to get an indication that the next one that's about to come out, which has not come out yet for November, is going to be down as well, because we're already partially through November. Technically, the report is not out yet. But if we start to see this falling down, then a lot of that buy pressure that would have gone into cryptocurrency is going to go into property instead. Now, here's what you can do. What you can do is be watching this. If you have a lot of money in crypto right now, if you're up big, now you should not be afraid, even though it dips some, do not be afraid to take some profits out. Now that depends how much you have. If you just have a few thousand in, you're looking for that moonshot, well then you may want to leave it all in. If you have more than a few thousand in, then you may want to take out somewhere around 40 to 50% of your cryptocurrency and just take that risk of holding still 50%. And that's something that I am personally going to do with a lot of my cryptos. Now the two I'm not selling any of are Dogecoin and the most recent crypto pick, because those two I think have massive potential regardless of a lot of this, the huge catalysts that are going to happen into place, the big things that are coming for them. Those are two of the most underrated cryptos by far on the market. But with the rest of my crypto based on this news right here, I think the smart thing to do, and I know some people are going to be mad about this, it's just the truth though, the smart thing to do is take a percentage of your profits. Now, there's two ways to look at this. The first one is you could do it right now, but unfortunately, the market has just dropped a decent amount over the last few days. So in theory, the smartest thing to do here would be wait for a little bit of an increase and then start doing that. But you don't know if that's going to happen or not. So really, the way a lot of people are playing it, you may want to take a little bit of profits now, a little bit of profits tomorrow, and start slowly averaging a percentage of yours out, and then still keeping a percent in. And with Dogecoin, we're not going to be selling hardly any of that. With the most recent crypto pick, we're not going to be selling hardly any of that. But when it comes to other cryptos, this news is unfortunate, and it is something we have to talk about because this is a big part of the chart. And this is why make sure to come to this channel, subscribe with notifications on. I will let you know what happens. Now, there is another positive flip side to this. If we do see this chart reversing and continuing to go up again and housing prices continuing to rise, then the crypto spike is going to be more inevitable than ever. And so there's no guarantees it will continue to go down. We just have to make sure we're watching this closely. I will keep you as updated as I possibly can here on the channel. I'm still going to be holding most of my crypto, but I will be selling a percentage right now. Once again, no Dogecoin being sold. I have not sold Tking in a while. I probably won't sell any. I mean, I'm still trying to decide on that, but probably not. And just because I want to continue supporting it since it has fallen a decent amount based on the fact that one of its biggest news story days happened to come, unfortunately, during a major crypto crash for all of crypto, which is terrible timing for that. So that's one of the reasons why we did see it dropping. It wasn't supposed to drop that much. It wouldn't have in normal circumstances, just some bad luck there. However, there are still some positive things with that moving forward. And I do want to continue to show my support since I have been part of the community for a long time. Now, the truth is, I've been saying saying all this entire time, make sure to take profits on Tking. That's what you're supposed to do. I've been doing it. I think a lot of us have been doing that. That's a smart way to go about it. And when I say take profits, I don't mean sell half of it, sell the next half of it. I mean, you can sell 5%, you can sell 1%, and I mean 5% a month. You know, you can do something like that. You can slowly take some profits over time. You can take your initial out if that's what you want to do, and that way you can make sure you're locking in some of those profits. And also on top of that, that's really when we see those crazy gainers. Now, when we start talking about a new crypto as a community, like for example, the most recent Patreon pick, now with that, it's a lot of us going in early, and then we're holding that for more future people to come. Once those future people come, then at that point, we can start slowly taking profits. But right now, I'm personally not ready. Now, if you want to take profits now, that's of course your decision. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I think it would definitely be in a lot of our advantage to continue holding and to see some of those major gains in the future if you're willing to risk it. Once again, it's still a risk. We can't know for sure what's going to happen in the crypto market, but using indications like this, we can get an idea of where it's going. And so that's why I just want to come on and talk some about this. It is of course true as well that the most likely thing to happen here, even though it is a little bit toward the negative side, does not mean it's necessarily going to happen. Really, it's near that 50% level. The chart and all the positive indications and the past and what we're looking at and some of the news stories, that shows a spike is coming. But when we look at the actual metrics, there's not necessarily going to be enough buying pressure to make that spike actually form. Because why would anyone buy crypto if they can buy a property and some crypto, which means they're going to be spending less on crypto overall? Just something to consider there. So that's why you really have to be more careful when it comes to the cryptos you pick. If you're buying big cryptos right now, you're taking a much bigger risk. What you want to be doing is finding small gems like what we have on Patreon, because there's still going to be a ton of opportunities to make money in this market. There's no question about that. Even if we do go into a full-on bear market, there will still be some cryptos that pop off behind the scenes, and of course we're going to cover them very closely, and that's just the way it is. And of course, yeah, this isn't what we want. Some people saying, so Dalton says paper hands. So we have a number of comments, and that of course you're allowed to say that, but keep in mind, I'm holding approximately 60% of my crypto. I'm just selling 40% because the way I see it is I'm willing to risk around 60% of my crypto in this market, and then 40% I want to continue to take profits on. And once again, not selling any of my Dogecoin because that just has way too much potential moving forward. And I'm also not selling any of the most recent crypto pick on Patreon, and I probably will not sell any Tking either. So basically all the cryptos that we love here on the channel, I'm not selling any of those, not even a little bit, and not even thinking about selling Dogecoin, especially right now, because the future is too bright for some cryptos, regardless of any of the rest of the things. But the market as a whole is going to perform slightly differently than some of those cryptos will, because there will still be lots of spikes. Another thing to keep in mind here is this: inflation throughout the states has been really bad, especially in the middle of the country. You can see all the red there is showing huge amounts of inflation, getting near 10% in some states, which is a crazy amount of inflation. Then this chart right here also shows kind of the overall inflation rate, as it has gone up above 6%, but it really happened very fast. And kind of similarly, the market of real estate has gone up a lot too, but even faster. So real estate has gone a little bit too crazy compared to where it should be with the market, and Dogecoin, other cryptocurrencies are kind of where a lot of people are turning instead of real estate at these current prices. And with this, if we do start to see inflation coming down, that's another sign that we could be about to go into a little bit more of a bear market here. Just something to consider with some cryptos. Once again, though, not 100% chance. It's all about playing the game of chance. But that's why the good thing about crypto is you don't have to go all in or all out. You can go partially in and partially out, and you can take that risk, which is a little bit safer. If you're trying just for a moonshot, though, well, clearly you're not going to want to take any of it out. You're going to want to play that high upside. But if you're trying to play it safe, if you want to be making your retirement fund, it really just depends on your personal decisions as your portfolio and what you want to do. And that's really where you can be getting the best moving forward. Let's go. Thanks for your hard work coming in from Rough Moon Doge Landing. And yeah, I get it. All the people, you can come in. Most people here are saying thanks for the information and stuff like that. But the truth is that some people are going to say you paper hands, and yes, I in fact am having some paper hands right now with 40% of a lot of my cryptos. Not all of them. And I think paper hands is smart. Like, people will make fun of you for having paper hands. Why do people do that? Because they're holding the crypto and they don't plan to sell. So of course they're going to make fun of you. Why? Because they would like you to keep holding, because they have money in it. And if you sell, well, then theirs goes down. So that's why people make fun of you if you sell cryptocurrency, and understandably so. I mean, it's in your best interest to make fun of people for doing that. But on this show, it's not about making money necessarily for other people or other communities, it's about us making the money. We want to be having the advantage. And if we're not playing based on the actual information, on the actual stats, then where's that advantage? Everyone can see what crypto is doing. Everyone can see if it goes up or down, but most people don't have access because they're not watching this show or they're not watching shows that talk about it to the behind the scenes information that actually leads to some of these big market moves that we see. So that's why you want to be part of channels like this, Final Stand. That's why you want to be on the Patreon, where I can give you more in-depth updates on what's happening. There's a link right down there in the description. There's also going to be a link in the pinned comment. You can go check that out. It may be a little bit before our next major pick, but I think the most recent pick has a ton of room to grow right now. And because Tking dipped, and a lot of people who had money in Tking also had money in the most recent pick, well, that's going to make some headwind there that has caused a little bit of price action toward the negative side. So we're going to continue to watch that though and see what happens with it, as I do have a ton of optimism moving forward, as we're also seeing a lot of other things happening in the entire crypto market right now. So here's a little bit more toward the good side. Goodbye Staples Center, hello Crypto.com, Arena. Some of these huge cryptocurrency apps are starting to play the big game when it comes to advertising. Now, Staples Center, one of the most famous, some people will argue the most famous basketball arena in the entire world, perhaps the one over there in New York, and maybe a little bit more famous, but Crypto.com Arena, you can see exactly what it looks like, and that's incredible. I mean, look at that, all blue lights, has a big name on the top. That's going to be huge advertising for them. I think it will be profitable. They spent $700 million. Now, they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't see a long-term bright future of crypto. And that's the other thing here. Yes, we're talking about the negatives, and that's more in the short term. The long-term future of crypto is going to be major gains. It will go down if we do see the housing market going down. Crypto will go down too because less people want to buy that over housing. It's just that simple. But after we see some of that type of energy starting to pass, it will go up again. It's not going to be anywhere near over. It goes up and down, and that's what you want to be doing. You want to be taking advantage of when it's up and taking some profits. And when it goes down, well, then you can buy some more. And you can also do the same thing. You can buy it slowly. And it's really just about making your own decisions. And you can also switch cryptos. You don't have to continue to stay on the same one. You can buy one that has a high chance of going up after selling one that has a high chance of going down. And that's how you really make the most money from it. But look at all the blue lights there. It's pretty beautiful. And what we've seen from that, by the way, Crow has been a crypto pick in Patreon in the past. And Crow has absolutely gone crazy since we picked it on Patreon. More than a 7x from that point. So massive gains here from Crypto.com coin. And this is one where this is actually tricky. So I'm going to sell 40% of my Crow. I will do it. But I feel a little bit worse about that, just simply because Crow is such a cool coin moving forward. It's ranked number 17, but they're doing big advertisements like that. They have a pretty dang good app. The only problem is it's not as good as Coinbase. So most people are still going to choose Coinbase over it. And that wasn't the case when I first started talking about Crypto.com app. I was talking about Crypto.com app as one of the best apps out there at the time. Coinbase has now started to catch up to it and passed it in a lot of the areas that Crypto.com was better at, including staking. And so because of that, well, I see less of a bright future for Crow, but still enough upside that I'm willing to keep 60% of my money in. That's still a heck of a lot. We're all still seeing a lot of high upside in some of these cryptos. And by the way, the reason why I'm not selling more of my portfolio is because I have not been picking cryptos that are more susceptible to a negative downside on the market. I haven't been putting a lot of money into Bitcoin. I haven't been putting a lot of money into Ethereum anymore. I mean, I was at first. I've been putting a lot of that more into smaller market cap altcoins. And so with some of those moves, that's why I would sell more if I had more of these top cryptos than I would otherwise. And I just think it's more about taking that risk slowly rather than fast. And I have not sold yet. I'm going to do that. I wanted to let everyone know first. So I just think that's the way to do it. I'm going to let you know what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do it. Dogecoin to the moon! Watch the video called Why Everyone Should Own at Least 500 Dogecoin. I love that. Yeah, no one's who's selling Dogecoin? If you sell Dogecoin, what the heck are you doing? I mean, you can, but why would you sell the crypto that's about to be put on the moon? Why would you sell the crypto that Elon Musk has huge plans for and continues talking about, the richest man on the entire planet with more influence than anyone, and he's hardly even exercised even a percentage of his influence. I mean, Twitter's nothing compared to what Elon Musk can do in terms of influence in the world. So of course why would we sell Dogecoin? I mean, if you do, then you're, I guess, taking that seriously, the cryptocurrency as a whole, and Dogecoin's tied to it. You're taking a little bit more weight onto that. And you know what? Maybe you could technically be right. I just don't see a high chance of that. Dogecoin just has too many things coming for it to be a negative a negative side right now. But yeah, we've seen a lot of tweets and stuff too coming in about BTC lately, as this is what the market's done. Not good, obviously. Down 6% to BTC. One of the worst things you can see is BTC falling for the overall market. Ethereum down 5%, Binance Coin down 9%, Solana down 11%, Cardano down 6%, XRP down 8%, Polkadot 8%, Dogecoin 7%, Shiba Inu Coin 11%. See, look, Dogecoin not falling as much as Shiba Inu Coin. It's not falling as much as a number of top cryptos. Fell less than XRP, fell less than Polkadot, fell less than Solana. But when you get to really, really high, it fell less than Binance Coin. The only two the Dogecoin did not fall more than is Ethereum and Bitcoin. And those two have also had pretty bad weeks overall. Dogecoin holding a little bit more steady overall, down 15% this week. Then we have Ethereum also down 15%, which you wouldn't normally see that. In a typical market, Dogecoin would be falling more. Why isn't it? Well, it's as simple as people see the future with it, whereas they don't see as much of a future with some of these other ones. And look at that, USD coin, oh no, it fell 0% because it's always worth $1, even though CoinMarketCap will track it as it fell a tiny bit. It fell 0.0007. Well, no, not really. It's still worth $1. That's just how CoinMarketCap works for whatever reason, because CoinMarketCap is going to do what CoinMarketCap is going to do. And you can see right here, copy of US Constitution. So remember, I talked about it on my show the other day. A bunch of guys came together for a crypto bid on a copy of the Constitution. They put around $7 million collectively into this through a smart contract. If the smart contract goes through, then they can buy the piece of the Constitution and then hold it as an investment moving forward. But once again, prices are absolutely bananas all over the place. So we'll look at this. We saw it going for $43 million a piece of the Constitution. Who would pay that much for it? Well, Elon, is that you? Is that you? Who the heck would do that? I don't know. I can't imagine paying $43 million for a piece of paper. Is it an investment? Yes. Can it go up? Yes. But when inflation is this high, are you really willing to pay $43 million for a piece of paper? Well, you have to have a heck of a lot of money. Maybe whoever bought this, well, they have to be extremely rich, right? So they may have just wanted it for the personal connection, and to them, $40 million, maybe it's nothing. Maybe they're just like, okay, let me go and reach in my pocketbook, grab a quick 40 mil, and put it in the Constitution. If you have billions of dollars, well, then it's not as much to you than if you have significantly less money than that. Matt, what's going on with Tking? Yeah, Tking has definitely been an unfortunate ride overall in the last week, but that doesn't change the fact that we are starting to see the price stabilize some. Could it fall more? It could if people are selling. I mean, it just comes down to the community. If the community decides to hold, it will go back up again. If the community decides to sell, it'll go down. But some reasons that the community may want to continue to hold is Chain Chat, which is an actual cool dApp that allows people to message each other on chain. Some other reasons people want to hold, well, there's also a couple movies about Tiger King coming out. They're going to reach new audiences. That could be interesting. The Netflix show itself has been, in my opinion, way worse than the first season. I think that's also playing a big role. It's not getting as much attention, and we were expected it to be a big, cool season like the first one. Well, instead, it was kind of all over the place. They didn't have as much of a storyline. We didn't see a lot of the cool animals that really kept our attention in the first one, and I haven't watched the full season yet. I want to see the rest of it. It's still a good show. Don't get me wrong. It's still better than most shows on Netflix by a large margin. But compared to the first season, which was just absolutely insane, it doesn't quite live up to that. It's somewhere lower down, and that's partly just because it's the second season. Any show that goes to second season is facing an uphill battle compared to where they were before. And so that was all stuff you couldn't expect. But everyone will say, I wish I'd sold more at the top. Don't say that. That's not the way you should look at it. The way you should look at it is you made a decision, you made a risk assessment, and you followed through on it, and there was a chance it could have worked out, there's a chance it didn't, and we saw a little bit more of the negative side, and then a lot more of the negative side than we wanted to based on the risk we took. The show was part of it, like I said, and then also if we hadn't seen a couple of those larger wallets selling some, by the way, once again, I have not sold any. I have taken profits along the way. I have taken a lot of profits along the way from all of my cryptos pretty much, and that's why I've been telling everyone on my show, take profits along the way. You don't know when this is going to happen. You have to make sure every single time that you're up big, you go take profits. And the best way to do it is not fast. You don't want to be selling a ton at once. You want to be taking, now for example, if you have $1 million in a crypto, okay, it's unlikely. Most people don't, right? Okay, let's do a smaller example. If you have $100,000 in a crypto and you're trying to sell out of it, well, you may want to do, instead of selling 20,000 at once, you could sell 5,000 every single 12 hours or every single day or something along those lines. And that way you're not selling too much. You're still holding on for that upside. But if it crashes, then at least you were selling some of it along the way. And so at least you already took some profits out of it. That's the smart way to go about it. Most people don't do that, which is why you have the advantage there. If you do what everyone else does, where's your advantage? Well, you don't have one. And so how are you going to make money if other people are not having a disadvantage and you're not having an advantage? Well, then everyone stays around even overall. Maybe you'll make a little, maybe you lose a little, but we want to be making big profits, not just a little overall. The future is the biggest community coin, FJB. 50K donated, he says. Matt Winnis to vet charities in the first 27 days. Oh, there's some funny coins. There's some funny coins going out now. Love you, Matt. Can you give my buddy a shout out? He says, Dogecoin dad says, let's go, Brandon. Doge to the moon. Man, a lot of people commenting that recently. I try to stay away from topics like that just because I want everyone to be able to watch this show for cryptocurrency information. If you want to go see a show about that, there's plenty of them out there that you can go watch. This show is not about that. This show is about knowing the market, knowing what's coming, and being able to make the most money possible. It's as simple as that. And if we started talking into other areas, well, then it may make people less likely to want to watch and see the good information, which people still should be able to have access to without having to worry about if they're going to hear stuff they don't want to hear or not. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. But still a lot of comments coming in like that. Connor, I'm not getting now we're starting to get some really out there comments, some interesting ones. So Kylan says, so basically the saving grace for Tking is the dApps. Is it looking bad? Is it looking good? Yeah, but the dApps actually are legitimately a positive thing. And season 2, even though it's not as good as season 1, it's still a good show. It's going to get more viewers. So I don't think it's time to give up on it yet. That's why I'm not selling, and I have not sold in over a week. When it comes to Tking, I want to give it a chance to actually do something cool. But keep in mind too, if I had not taken any profits along the way, well, I would have sold in the last week. The reason I didn't sell in the last week partially is because I already had taken a lot of profits out. I was telling everyone, make sure you're doing that. If you didn't do it, now you learned. Don't feel bad. It's okay. Most people probably didn't, but now you know kind of how the process goes, especially when we see insane gains like that. Take profits along the way, and then when you do want to show some support, then you can leave more in, whatever you feel comfortable risking. And so that's what we did. And haha, all good fun. Thanks for being a good sport, says Dogecoin dad. You're welcome. if that's the right way to go about it. But Doge to the moon as well, coming in from Seraphin. I happen to agree with that. As we go ahead and move forward on the market, make sure you're making the smart decisions here. This is about doing what gives us the advantage, not gives other people the advantage. I'm at Wallace. This is Faust, and I will see you in the Patreon.